So if your pipeline has perhaps been a bit more tricky over the last few months or couple of years, I think then this video or the tips in it might hopefully be helpful to you, because this is something that I guess most, if not all, agency businesses have seen over the last couple of years. It has not been easy. And I think what it has done is it's exposed some macroeconomic factors, absolutely, but also I think some structural shifts in the world of how the agency market is working. And, I think when we built our business, back in the 2010s, we were lucky in the sense that, we were leaning into still a digitally maturing market. There was less competition, still difficult, but less competition. And now, of course, particularly post-COVID, actually, there is too much supply and not enough demand. So you're fighting in a really hyper-competitive market, and also one which is much more digitally mature. So actually, people in-house are much more knowledgeable than they were, 5-10 years ago. So, you've got a really, really knowledgeable customer and a really competitive environment for them to find something. And so what's actually happening is that that's having an impact on how GTM is playing out. So if you're seeing a quieter pipe, actually there are probably a few different mistakes that you're making, but it actually starts right at the top of what is your go-to-market, what's your proposition? And those businesses and agency businesses particularly that have been around a long time and have made their money being really relatively a broad church and being able to do something for everyone, they're struggling, whereas actually the specialists are now winning. So businesses that are very sector focused, for instance, and channel focused are doing really well. So, SEO agency in pharmaceuticals, for instance, or a B2B marketing company in you name another sector, they're the businesses that are doing better. And the reason for that is and it comes back to what the mistakes are that you're being made, is that they have a very crystal clear understanding of who their ICP is, and therefore what the pain points are for that ICP, so they can talk to that visceral pain through the content and outbound marketing that they do. Of course, that's only one half of the battle, isn't it? Because you need to build the engine. And I think what I consistently see across those that are struggling is the fact that they've got no real clue of who their ICP is, so they're not really targeting anybody specifically, and they're not talking to anybody specifically. So it's a spray and pray kind of approach to outbound, and that isn't working, and therefore they go, well, email outbound or outbound generally isn't working. Well, no, what's not working is the fact that you don't understand what the messaging and the content requirement is for that, and then who you're targeting. So it still works, but you have to be very, very targeted. And then the other side of it, of course, is quite often that there are founder bottlenecks in that. So, the kind of founder-led sales problem exists in most agencies, because quite often in order to get traction, you need to be a really good salesperson as a founder or founders. But then after a while, that becomes the problem, and you need to scale the sales and marketing engine. So I think in terms of fixes, I would say start at the top, really be brave and define who it is that you want to target through your kind of ICP work. Make sure that your proposition matches that. Build a repeatable outbound system that then plays into that visceral pain for that ICP, and make sure that you're building content and assets and delivering events that, get those people together and really capture their attention. And then make sure that you delegate intelligently as well. So build not just the process, but the people structure of your sales and marketing team by looking at bringing in a sort of a new world SDR, making sure that you have the right technology around your cold outbound, all that kind of stuff. And that's a really important thing. So look, great delivery won't save you if the pipeline is broken. What you need to do is build a really good GTM engine that actually works. And that is working, because I see it every day. So hopefully that's helpful.